Hey guys, welcome to Panthera-Tora, where we do all things Planet Zoo. So today I kind of thought I was kind of just messing around and had a thought to myself that, you know what, I think I'm gonna do kind of sort of what Geekism did. During the Planet Zoo beta, he actually recreated the giraffe house from the original Zoo Tycoon. And I thought that was pretty nifty. So I kind of took a little bit of a page from his book and I recreated the original water fountain. I guess the original, like the basic standard, like without doing any research, water fountain from Zoo Tycoon. I had a mind blank there for a second. The basic fountain. So basically this is the first, like one of the first items you get whenever you start playing the game. And I don't know, I just thought I'd recreate it. And then I also kind of did like a little bonus of like, I did the, what the heck is it called? I've got it written down here somewhere. The post and rope fence. So that was one of the fences I used like all the time whenever I was a little kid playing Zoo Tycoon. I keep wanting to say Planet Zoo, so if I mix those two names up, please forgive me. But yeah, I tried to recreate it in detail as well as I could. As with the items that we have in the game right now, it's kind of difficult. Like I felt like this wall turned out extremely nice. Like I thought this was probably the best part of it, but like the minor details were a little hard. You had to get a little creative on it. And then of course I was going to like line up these walls and it didn't work like perfectly, like not amazingly. As you can see on this top little like ledge thing here, whatever you want to call it, like the little lip, they don't line up perfectly, but they're pretty darn close. So I was just like, you know, it's good enough. And I'll probably overlay an image right about now of the original one, but I'm opening a picture of it, and the actual picture of it from the game, it looks like the water is kind of dark down there. So I overlaid these roof tiles. Well, I don't know if they were tile or wood, but I overlaid them to kind of give an appearance of like darker water underneath. And I wasn't sure if maybe in the original game it was meant to be like, well, we've got like a different type of material underneath the water. And right here, as you can see, I was trying my best to add water to the water fountain, which just wasn't gonna work. Just plain and simple wasn't going to. I really wish that Frontier would allow us to place water at any level in the game instead of just increments. I don't really feel like that's very realistic, and I can understand why the system works this way. It's probably just simply because if we had too much freedom to roam, we'd probably end up with like weird messes of like water glitches everywhere and stuff like that. So I kind of sort of understand why the system is like that, but for creative reasons I wish we could like place water at any level that we wanted to. And once the water is placed, I wish we could move the fence down to at least water level. I feel like I've seen that's done before, but I don't know why I can't get it to work. But anyway, so I was looking through all the parts in the game trying to recreate the top part of the fountain as best as I could, and the only thing that I could find are these little like, I think they're like shields or something. They're from the African theme. The only thing I didn't really like is that they have the little like spike in the middle of it, but you can change the color on them, so it wasn't too big of a deal. And of course, I feel like now that I look at it, I wish I kind of would have left it that way. But whenever I had, I think it was, however many were on there, I think there was like 8 on there. I changed that. I ended up changing that to, I believe, 16 whenever I spread them out a little bit further. But if you've noticed, the proportions of the fountain are not exactly equal to how the original one is. It's a little bit bigger, and I probably could have made it probably the exact same size, and I might go back and do that eventually, but I made it a little bit bigger to kind of fit the construction tools that we have in Planet Zoo currently. So as you can see there, I multiplied it to 16 instead of having just 8, and I raised it up a little bit higher than the Zoo Tycoon version. Kind of did like more of the shields down there to kind of make sure it flows down into the bottom half of the fountain, make it look a little bit more realistic. And I learned a big lesson with these speed builds, and especially on this one in particular, is that whenever I start a build, I'm going to like try to do it with the world axis, because I had a huge issue with this one because I turned the path just a little bit before I started building. So whenever I was actually making stuff and placing it down, it wasn't exactly like on the world axis, which was extremely annoying, and I had to deal with it a lot. I think you'll see it whenever I go to place the middle of the fountain. You'll see what I mean, because I'm like sitting there tediously trying to move it, and the water jets I end up using are just really kind of dumb to play with as well, because they were just not on that axis. So whenever I was making this little like ledge thing, it's on the original one as well. There wasn't really very many parts that matched up with this properly. I feel like I probably should have taken the same little like geometric shape that I used for the orange and just copied it and tried to make it match the stone a little bit better. But I think that little like classical piece kind of worked out pretty well. Like it wasn't perfect, but it looks pretty good, and it still kind of looks like stone in my opinion. So kind of glad I went with it. I understand why I chose it. Let's see. So I'm putting in just another floor down there to make sure that looks proper. So I use this little like topper piece, and you can see what I mean about the world axis there, because I'm just constantly trying to fiddle with it. And this is sped up 500 times, so I was sitting there playing with that probably for a good like, I don't know, 2 minutes trying to get it straight, whatever the heck the math ends up being on that. But I think that looks pretty good. The little piece that they use in Zoo Tycoon just looks like a small little spout. So that works. I don't know. You can see how I tried to do the water in this. I just used the splash effect to make it look like there's water in the entire fountain. There probably could have been better ways, but I didn't want it to overlap outside of the fountain. So what I did, I think it works pretty good, honestly. And I was looking at pictures earlier of the Zoo Tycoon version versus the one that I made in Planet Zoo, and I feel like I probably should have used the large splash, or not splash, but water jet for the middle piece, because it doesn't really go that high. The one in Zoo Tycoon goes quite a bit higher than that. And as you can see in this, I ended up adding 4 little extra spouts, because I felt like, because I made it a little bit bigger to fit Planet Zoo, the outsides of it just kind of felt dead in a way. Like I felt like there needed to be more filler. So I took those 4, and it kind of, I think it fills out the area a little bit. It kind of makes me, like whenever I think of a water fountain, you think of how like water flows up, and it flows out obviously, and then it trickles back down, but you got to have a way that it gets back up to the top. So in my mind, what I was thinking is, well, the side jets kind of like shoot the water back up into the top trough so it can recycle, and then of course the water in real life would trickle down out of the little trough up top into the bottom. So I don't know, that was kind of my thinking on that. And of course, I'm over here recreating the fence from Zoo Tycoon now as well. So with the pieces that we have, I was able to make the post pretty well. I feel like the post would either be square or round. I feel like obviously the textures from Zoo Tycoon are pretty low, but they either look like they're round or square, so I went with the square ones because they looked like they matched the best. The ropes were kind of like, you didn't even really have to think about that. They pretty much match up perfectly. And then of course, the only thing that I could do about, like, whenever you look at the picture in Zoo Tycoon, it looks like there's little metal rings that hold the ropes onto the posts. So I used the little fence pieces in there for that. So we're coming up on the end of the video now, so I hope you guys like this. If you did, please feel free to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you liked it, and I will see you guys in the next one.